Steve. My name is Maria Dunnigan. I have a good question, I think, anyways. Who is your political role model and why?
Well, there's a few libertarians I could probably pick from, but actually I'm going to pick one from another party, the one that recently passed away a few years ago, and that would probably be Ronald Reagan, who wasn't strictly a libertarian, but I think that what he did is really raise the spirits of Americans and gave Americans hope and something to believe in. And so, and he's the only one, I mean, there's a lot of people in history books, but he's the only one that, I grew up with and I was an adult with and saw the change he made in America. And from the spirit standpoint of really raising America's hopes and getting America back, believing in itself again, I'd say in recent memory, I'd have to say Ronald Reagan.
My name is Rowena Richards. Our status, or our country as a whole, is in financial difficulty. What are your plans to fire up the economy?
Well, again, my name is Steve Norris, Assembly District 10, and basically what I said in my opening speech, and that was to get rid of these cumbersome regulations, which are one of the reasons we have a very low tax rate for businesses here, but one of the reasons they don't come here is because a lot of regulations are just really, for the lack of a better word, just really silly and cumbersome on them, and really make it hard for people to run businesses the way that some of the laws are structured. For one thing, basically any regulation that isn't for public safety, if there isn't a reason for public safety reasons, if it doesn't, it's not going to affect the health of the people using it or endanger somebody, I think we should eliminate most of those regulations. If we just stripped away the regulations that are just a matter of choice for people, I think that would just attract more businesses, and it would actually make it easier to follow the law if you just knew that basically as long as you're not hurting somebody else or you're not harming somebody else, and I don't mean economically. If you're a competitor, I know that one of the people on your panel mentioned a thing for limo drivers that had to prove that they wouldn't economically harm another limo driver if they started their business. Well, I don't know how you would do that. You're bringing in competition in that case. So those are the kind of silly laws I'm talking about. Anyway, and other than that, just those kind of regulations. Again, my name is Steve Norris. I'm running for Assembly District 10.
Thank you. Don Wilbright. I'm going to try to shoot a couple questions at you. One, are you for legalizing and or decriminalizing all drugs, some drugs, no drugs? And the water restrictions, you stated that you're for opening up 10% more of the land, and I was curious how you were going to marry that with the water restrictions that we have in the state of Nevada. Thank you.
Well, the technical issues I haven't worked out yet as far as the water rights and things like that. Those will have to be worked out. Now, as far as the legalization of drugs, and I understand that is one of the libertarian things there. Hard drugs, probably is way too early to even think about that. But what I have looked at is what the issue has been in the past before there was legalization, when it was like open, before there was regulations on restricting drugs and prescriptions, and before they licensed doctors. And essentially the addiction rates have really not changed significantly from whether they were legalized or they were not legalized. But as far as currently changing the law, I think that in the case of marijuana, I believe that particular law is a little bit antiquated, that you wouldn't want somebody to be smoking and driving a car just like you wouldn't want somebody to be drinking an open can of alcohol and driving a car. But as far as people doing what they're doing in their own private homes, I really don't have a problem with that. And I think we should decriminalize it for private use as far as marijuana goes, and take that as a step, see how that affects society before we even think about any of the other drugs. But I think as a first step, the legalization of marijuana is probably a sensible first step at this to see what effect it would be on society. So before I legalize all drugs, I would take that as a first step, and then study the issue for another 10 years or 20 years see if it's done any harm to society or if it's changed it at all. So that's as far as I would go on that particular issue right now.
Okay,
Again, my name is Steve Lenoris, Assembly District 10.
we have a latecomer. If you can take the mic and give us your elevator pitch, that is your 30 to 45 second intro, because as we have 4 minutes left.
Good morning again. I apologize. I was driving around the wrong shopping center searching for the place, and I do apologize for that. My name is Tyler Andrews. I'm the Republican candidate for Assembly District 10. My focus is on limited government, individual liberty, and free markets. I think those are the principles that made Nevada strong and prosperous in the past, and that's what's going to get us back there in the future. Our current legislature's turned away from those goals, and that's my focus. I'm a local attorney here in town. I've been committed to the ideals of limited government, free markets for the past 10 years. I studied constitutional issues throughout law school and have written a bunch of papers on the scope, the proper scope of the government under the Constitution. That's why I'm running.